chat. Adrian, kick us off.
All right, first up, rapper Machine Gun Kelly recently opened up on how he's just working to be a better version of himself and just overcome his past struggles. In a sit down with Dave Franco for Interview magazine, Machine Gun actually admitted to finally seeking help through therapy, which I totally applaud. You know, just to work on separating his machine gun persona from Colson Baker, which is his real name. But he did admit that the work is challenging, saying, quote, "How am I supposed to meditate for 10 minutes when I can't even sit in my own brain for 2 minutes?" He also credits his current girlfriend, Megan Fox, for being such a strong support system. So, ladies, what do you think of Machine Gun? What do you think of what he's saying here? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I think a big applaud to him. And I think what he said about sitting and being still for 10 minutes, that's why when you led us through that brief little meditation exercise, Lonnie, it was so helpful because it is really the most difficult part is to sit down and just be silent with yourself because people get awkward. You're like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to be thinking? Because we are automatically programmed in this life to constantly be doing something. You're constantly supposed to be thinking about what you're supposed to be thinking about when meditation is just being okay with not. And I applaud him for just that. That's actually just the door opening right there to actually learning to just sit and be still. And I love therapy, guys. I'm so thankful for it. And I applaud anybody who takes it on. Do you guys practice in therapy?
Oh. Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I mean, I think over the years I've gone to therapy, and I think it's really great because growing up, when I heard the word therapy or when I heard family talk about it, it was because it was the crazy people. You know what I mean? And then now it's become more mainstream and it's okay to get therapy. And I think anytime we can hear from someone like Machine Gun Kelly, who has such a huge platform, to make it okay, to say we're all a work in progress. And I know for me, when I started meditating, I was like, how can I do this? I can't shut my head down. I can't stop thinking about something. So it gradually gets better and better, but I love that someone like him can say that because maybe it will normalize it for other people or people who follow him and love his music and all that.
You know, I was thinking about how he was talking about how he had a really supportive partner. And it's so good when you're trying to change and better yourself to have somebody in your corner to support you. And I like that. But also, it's a certain point in your life where you have to take control and say, I may have to go about this alone. And so that's when, you're right, Jeannie, when therapy really can help you, when meditating really can help you, because sometimes you can't always lean on a person. You have to start leaning on yourself. And, you know, it's been a hard year, ladies. I mean, with the unrest, with the pandemic, everybody's mind is racing. And that's why we keep saying therapy. We keep saying prayer. We keep saying meditation, because we know people need to hear it. And when Machine Gun is sharing his story like this, it's so important because it lets us know that we're all going through something and we're not alone.
Have you guys ever felt like your TV personality versus who you really are? Have you ever felt that separation, and what have you done about that? Because I know for me, obviously growing up in this industry, I will never forget one of the most, in Oprah's language, my aha moment was sitting down with one of my best friends who's like a sister to me, Angie Martinez, and it was in the transition between leaving the Cheetah Girls, and I had just gotten a record deal at Def Jam and was trying to find out who I am as a solo artist. And I just remember crying with her in the car and being like, I don't know why people perceive me this certain way. And she turned to me and said, what role are you playing in how they perceive you? And I was like,
wow,
oh, damn.
That's deep.
She was like, what are you doing that's making them view you that way, and why are you doing it? And I really took a moment to be introspective and recognize that I thought that me being in this industry required a certain persona, a certain look, a certain swag, a certain way of being, a certain post on Instagram, a certain group of friends, a certain type of purse, all of these things that I thought I needed to be a fly recording artist. You know, this is during the time when like Rihanna was Good Girl Gone Bad, and I really believed that that was something that I had to be cool. And from that moment on, I was like, yo, I need to be authentically who I really am and the things that I actually enjoy. Like, people wouldn't have known, like, I loved listening to worship music. Like, that really was always who I really was. And the moment I did that, all of the doors of opportunity opened for me. What had always felt like such a struggle and such a tug of war in my career, in my personal life, changed. I got the real. Like, and I was like, this is my chance to show people who I really am, what I'm really about. The right man came into my life, the right opportunities. Like, so I get what he's talking about, and sometimes that can be hard, but I think the key to that is really authentically being who you are and seeking that within yourself. That was really long, sorry.
I think
I'm naturally authentically long-winded.
I think authentically you, but we're different people in different places. It doesn't mean like you're not truly who you are. But I feel like if I'm hanging out with my girlfriends and doing shots and talking about, all kinds of nonsense, it doesn't take away from who I am. It's not a different persona. It's just like I'm letting my hair down with my girlfriends, as opposed to if I'm with my kids and we're doing something else.
It's stage names. Like, you guys don't know, my name is Yolanda. My stage name is Lonnie Love. Because I always wanted to be an entertainer. I always wanted to be a comic. But my actual government name is Yolanda. Yolanda Love don't
You're not going to tell us
sound
your
as
last name
Lonnie
because I
Love.
know it, but I'm not going to say it.
I just told you last year.
I don't know Yolanda's last name. Wait,
I know Yolanda's last
How do you
name.
know Yolanda's last? How do you know it? What government
Because
document did
I
you
looked
see?
at something when we were traveling together.
Tell me.
I saw the
I like
identification.
Yolanda.
I like
Let me
Yolanda
tell you
too.
something.
But do you
I
ever
like
feel
it.
like? Do you ever feel like there's a difference between Lonnie Love and Yolanda, the little girl that grew up in Brewster Projects, Detroit? Is there a difference? Who is Yolanda,
No.
and is that person different than Lonnie Love?
I always tell people, when you first meet me, you know me as Lonnie. When you get to know me, you can call me Yolanda.
I
That's
love
the
that.
difference.
I love that. Yes. I want to Google Yolanda. I want to find out what this last name is. I'm gonna
Can
be
I
doing
just
that
say
on
the
break.
letter? What's your last
Jeannie,
name?
go,
Yes.
Jeannie, go.
No.
It's a G. Oh no, she said no. Then no.
Okay, no, never mind. Okay, well, I'm gonna look at it.
No, keep watching and we'll reveal it later in the season. We'll do it for sweeps.
Okay, amazing. Well, okay,
Find
how about
out the
this, guys?
government.
I know we're all excited about this news. So Netflix's Selena, the series, premieres this week, which over 9 episodes will tell the iconic singer's complete story from her birth to her tragic death. I'm literally getting goosebumps as I talk about this. This time, actress Christian Serratos will take on the role of the beloved singer, which not everybody is singing the series' praises. So Alex Zaragoza recently wrote an article for Vice questioning why Hollywood felt the need to rehash Selena's story again when it's been told so many times, the most notable being the film starring Jennifer Lopez. Alex went so far as to say it's running into exploitative, boring territory and claims it sends a clear message about what Latinx stories Hollywood is willing to sell. She said, while it's great to see any representation, there should be more projects focusing on original Latinx stories which tread new ground. Adrian, I was wondering what you thought about this as soon as I saw the article. As Latina and a huge Selena fan, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this? Are you going to be watching the entire series?
So yes, I absolutely will be watching the series because I'm a huge Selena fan, and I actually believe that her story is still an amazing story till today, what she accomplished, the grounds that she broke. So I think that's a little ridiculous to say like, oh, that's boring now. I actually think after 20-something years of Selena no longer being here, for her family to be able to see that her legacy has lived on and that there's a whole new generation and a whole new demographic that will now be introduced to this story is an absolutely amazing thing. And I think you can make the point that we 100% need more Latinx, Latino stories on television in every place. We need representation on so many levels. I don't think that means that you have to throw away or toss away the Selena story. So I think while we can celebrate this amazing Selena story, because I think it should be told and it's inspiring and her music hopefully will live on forever, I do agree that, man, what's up with never seeing Latino stories? Like, you guys, just the other day, I was
That's
actually
how I feel.
watching
I feel like
Lifetime
they.
and Hallmark.
Right.
And they had all
Right.
these shows. There was even an Asian girl. It's coming out on the 18th, I think. I just saw it recently. And I was so excited. And there's interracial stories and black stories and white, like all these different families. And I was like, man, there is no Latino representation.
I
And it is
agree. I was saying to
frustrating.
myself, right, and I was saying that the last Latino movie I saw was like La Bamba. You know, so there's not that many representation, and also, why is the heroine always dying? It's like a Disney movie where the moms are always dead in the Disney movies, and I never understand that. But I'm like, you know, it's up to people like Eva Longoria, Lin-Manuel Miranda to, you know, show representation. I feel like, is this all that Hollywood is willing to, you know, to sort of support and showcase? Is Selena, La Bamba, like, we need more. I want to know more.
And we need more Latinos to be the writers and the producers of these shows so that we are represented correctly.
What I'm
because
saying.
what happens
Absolutely.
is they develop these shows and then they end up getting canceled because we don't feel that they are authentic stories. They are stereotypical. We watch them and we're like, I do not relate. This does not represent me and my family. Every other word is, I'm mija, cha, cha, cha. And like, and sometimes we watch them and we're just like, this isn't who we are. This is like a caricature of what you think Latino families look like. So it is so important.
I think we also need to stop being separate. I think we need to stop with just the blacks, just the Latinos, just the Asians. I think we need to also force the studios to put us all together. That's the reason why we created this show, because we wanted to show that all cultures can come together and be represented. And I think sometimes we're getting in this industry too much, okay, just black people, just the Asian people, and let's try to also incorporate diversity and us being together as a people. That way everybody can see each other at the same time and not like, okay, only this one or that one.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, or this is an African American movie, or this is an Asian film, or this is why can't we be integrated together the way we are in real life? A true representation of our country, of the world. Yeah, so I am super excited, obviously, for movies like In the Heights that will be coming out very soon with my boy Anthony Ramos, Leslie Grace, and so many others. But we just need more of it, and we need to fight for it and show these networks that this is absolutely what we want to see on this television. So when it comes out, don't just complain. We actually have to go and support it because money speaks volumes, and that's what tells the studios and the networks what you want to see.
Gospel singer Smokey Norfolk, who's one of my favorites, besides my best friend Israel Houghton, recently posted an adorable selfie to Instagram that he took on Thanksgiving Day. Smokey said he was thankful that his 16-year-old son climbed into his arms and fell asleep just like when he was a baby, and that he didn't want the moment to end. However, of course, several blogs reposted Smokey's picture, and it was met with some negative comments. People were saying things like, he's too old for that, and that's not normal for a 16-year-old boy. Ladies, why do you think people would have a problem with a picture like this?
There's nothing wrong with that. You know what? Especially if it was a girl with their dad, I wonder would they say anything. But the thing is, let me tell you, as a parent, those snuggles and cuddles go away so fast that if you can get them, cherish them. I'm always trying to bribe my kids to, you know, hang out with me or, you know, try to get more snuggles. And I think also it's really cool to see a son and his father showing that kind of love and affection, because so many times boys are taught to be tough and be strong and don't cry and don't show those emotions. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I remember when Oliver was so independent from the start. And even when we had earthquakes, I was like, do you want to sleep with mom? And he'd be like, no, I'm okay. And I'll be like, oh, okay. But now, Jade and I, if we're going to the market, we'll get out of the car, he'll hold my hands. I'll get kisses and hugs. Listen, please, we all need to love each other.
Do you think it was a father-father issue, like a two-men issue? Where, you know, the stigma of toxic masculinity comes into play, where it's like, oh, they should be teaching him how to be tough, not like cuddly and affectionate. And I really think that we need to normalize this. I think, you know, I took a picture when my sister was giving birth to Bo 6 years ago. Wow. I took a picture, literally, I fell asleep in my mom's lap in a hospital chair. and all the comments were lovely. And I think if you saw a woman doing that with her mother these days, the comments would be completely different. And furthermore,
Yes.
that it is a black father with his black son. There are all these, you know, these stigmas of like, oh, that's corny, or that's not cool, or why is he doing that? We need to normalize black fathers showing love and affection to their sons. And this is normal and okay and beautiful.
I'd rather see this, ladies, than always seeing when I go on my Explore pages. All I see is asses. How many? This all I see.
Yo.
Yeah.
All day.
I agree.
Yes.
Sick of that.
I agree.
I'd
rather see that.
I would love to see the hugging,
Some
the kissing, the
wholesomeness.
love.
Healthy,
Ooh,
happy
how
family.
many more asses I gotta look at?
Yes.
Actress Felicity Huffman will be returning to the screen soon. Felicity will be starring in an upcoming ABC comedy sitcom. Now, if you remember, Felicity was part of a huge college admission scandal. She ended up pleading guilty and served 11 days out of her 14-day sentence. Ladies, I want to know what you think. My opinion is she did the crime. She owned up to it right away. Yes, she served her 14 days of sentence, but that's what she was given.
11 days,
But
but
my thing is,
it was 11
you know,
of the
this is
14.
America.
It was not a
This
full
is
2 weeks.
America. She also needs to make a living. She is a great actress. She needs to make a living for her family. I would have liked part of her sentence, honestly, is if she got to pay for a tuition for a kid that was a kid that did not have a chance or doesn't have the means to pay for college. I would have liked to have seen that. What do you guys think, Lonnie?
You know, I'm still salty behind the whole thing because
I get it.
we still have black mothers that's in jail for, you know, giving the wrong address because they tried to put their kids in school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, until we straighten out and these rights, it's really hard to look at somebody and go, yeah, well, you know, she lucked up. And it's just not fair. And this system is not fair. And we still need to keep working on these systems to make it fair for everybody and not just because you're rich or you're famous. Just not right.
I just feel also, do you guys kind of feel like on top of everything that we have seen that is unjust, the things that really mean people have lost their lives, this to me is like, my hands are thrown up in the air, like, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that money and power can buy your way out of law and that you're white. And so, honestly, when it comes to the compiled issues that we have that I'm really praying that Biden and Kamala are getting together on as we speak, I'm like, girl, get out of here. We have bigger issues to fix, and you are just evidence of why we are jacked up in our system. So I can't even look at you right. I'm just like, I'm not surprised. I can't be shocked about
Jeannie,
that.
do you feel like it's almost like, oh, hey, hey, be careful, your privilege is showing?
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
The privilege
I mean,
is
she
on
just
other
got right
levels,
out of
let's be
jail.
honest.
It's not even careful anymore.
I believe that
It's
if
like-
a
it's like a-
Latino or if this had been, you know, an African American woman, I don't believe that she'd be having this kind of open arms back in Hollywood.
No, of
like, oh,
course
come
not.
back.
They
it's
just
okay.
gave her a job.
There would be
Of
this
course not.
stigma of like, oh, they did something wrong. They're a criminal. They, you know, robbed the system. And like, it would be viewed as something terrible and bad. Why is she still viewed like, oh, yes, we would love to offer you a... How awesome is that? I mean, great for her,
Yes.
but I just would like to see that across the board for all women when they're in the same predicament.
And the same thing happened with Martha Stewart. They just,
Right.
you know, they just, you know, came back. So it's like, well, if you're going to do that, do it for everybody.
That's all I'm
You know,
saying.
but
Do
we
it for
have to
everybody.
fix these
I agree.
systems.
We do have to
Just-
fix the
yeah.
system.